Meet Okina, a name spoken with reverence and fear in equal measure. A man, a myth, a shadow cast long across the lands of reeds. A swordsman whose artistry is not in the forging of peace, but in the symphony of death. His blade sang not of mercy, but of the inevitability. And his mask, a frozen grin that only madness could carve. Okina called himself a master, and rightfully so. His disciples, the White Reeds, followed him like moths to a flame, seeking honor of death in combat. Among them, the Inaba, a name tied to the transient beauty of rice leaves, stood closest to their master. But as time passed, their master's gaze shifted not outward but inward. For every stroke of his blade revealed not clarity but chaos. The absurdities of the world peeled back like layers of an onion until the stench of its core overwhelmed him. And so, Okina cast aside the mortal plane, who renounced the world, his disciples, and even his humanity. What remained was a man, a sword, and a madness that knew no bounds. And so it was, Okina found his way to Mohg, the Lord of Blood. Their meeting was not one of words, but one of steel and flesh. When Mohg felt the bite of Okina's blade, he saw the madness etched into the old man's eyes, and he did not recoil. He offered a gift. A life unbound by mortality, a life as a demon. A thirst that can never be quenched, a hunger that can never be satisfied. Okina accepted, and thus the old man became something more, something less. A demon of a swordsman wielding terror in both hands, a cursed katana in his right, and an auxiliary weapon in his left. His dance was a destruction, a deadly art form that knew no equal. But what of the White Reeds? What of the disciples who once followed their master with such devotion? They too sought their end, following Okina into the lands between. Not to save him, not to understand him, but to confront the inevitability he had become. They sought proper death by his blade, but instead found only echoes of their former selves. Their armor, their spirits, their purpose, all left to linger in the shadows of the Spirit Caller cave. Okina had transcended them, but in doing so, he had abandoned them. For in his madness, there was no room for disciples. There was only the blade, only the blood, only the madness. Okina, the old man of the land of reeds, left a legacy not of wisdom, but of bloodshed. His disciples, his enemies, and even his own humanity became casualties in his quest for mastery. In the lands between, there are many paths to tread, many fates to meet. Some seek glory, some seek redemption, and some, like Okina, seek only the perfection of their madness. But beware, traveler, for some paths do not lead to enlightenment, only to an eternity of torment.